I don't usually pay a scrap of attention to what goes on in the royal family. I'm neither for them or against them. They do a lot of great charity work, it has to be said. And when I heard that Meghan Markle was going to join them, she seemed a nice enough person, and I thought it would be she'd be a welcome addition to the family. And then, of course, I found out that she is a feminist. Not only that, she's also worked for the United Nations as some kind of feminist ambassador. Now, she seems like a nice enough person, but when she starts talking and going on and on about the empowerment of girls and the empowerment of women, like the rest of you, I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. Now, she's done a lot of good work abroad, apparently. Now, if she's talking about the empowerment of girls and women in countries, third world countries, where they may not have the same rights as boys and men, then okay, that's fine with me. But if she's talking about in this country, because she hasn't really made it clear, then, or any other country in the Western world where women and girls receive, they not only have the same rights as boys and men, they have more. They receive privileged treatment. I mean, I don't need to tell you about all the privileges that women, well, I'll mention a few here in Britain. All women shortlists for parliamentary candidates, so that men are just completely bypassed when it comes to the parliamentary procedure to get into Parliament. The women-only managerial courses, just women-only loads of things. But the girls thing bothers me even more, because girls have been brought up with all these girls-only education courses that they have, and apparently it's going on all over the Western world. You know, the concentration on girls. We live in a women this, women that, girls the other society, and Meghan Markle is going to make things worse. On the other hand, before I go on, I would point out that if she carries on like this, and royals are not supposed to be political, they cannot speak out politically, and feminism it is a political issue. I was looking just yesterday, I was doing a little bit of research into the bigotry against men and boys that the European Union has, and it's the first thing I found, which I knew I would, was they go on and on and on relentlessly about violence against women and girls in the European Union, but they don't care about the violence against men and boys. And as most people know, most child abuse is committed by women, so they're ignoring most of the abuse committed against girls by women, and they're also ignoring when it's not in the home, it's inside or outside the schools, and it's being committed by girl gangs. So these people in the European Union, they don't give a shit. It is an issue that is being used. It is the bread and butter, the mainstay for feminists, of shutting the men up around them, because they put you in a psychological position whereby if you turn around to them and you object and you say, well, hold on, what about violence against men and boys? They'll just turn to you and say, oh my God, you really don't care about violence against women and girls. Oh my God, you're so sick. And it wouldn't work on me, because I'd just put them right and give them a load of statistics. But male politicians in particular, they're cowards. It's the same with the males in the media. Politics and the media, it's always the bloody same. And they consist of just two breeds of people: man-hating women and the cowardly males who won't stand up to them. Anyway, just before I get back to Meghan Markle, because I've already gone off on a tangent here, I found out that the European Union is working in conjunction, or it has done in years gone by, with the United Nations Women Department. I'm not aware that they've ever had a men's. They're interested in men's issues. If they are, then I don't know about it. And they were ganging together to try and empower girls and women in Chile. What the fuck has Chile got to do with the European Union? And why are European Union taxpayers paying for this sexism in a country on the other side of the bloody world? Anyway, back to Meghan Markle. So finding out that she was a feminist and she worked for the United Nations was bad enough. Although, as I say, I have seen her do some good work. She doesn't mind getting her hands dirty, so to speak. So she's sincere, but unfortunately that won't do. But when they went to Cardiff here in Wales, and she was talking to people in the crowd, talking about how she was a feminist, and then she gestured to Prince Harry, and said, and he's one too. I thought, oh my God. She's 3 years older than him, and even though they're both worldly in their own way, he's very worldly in the sense that he's been all over the world promoting all sorts of charities, but she's been married already. And I just, when they did that first interview, for anyone who's seen it, when they announced their just after they'd announced their engagement, she looked like the cat that had the cream. He looked unusually nervous, and I got the impression even then, is she the one wearing the trousers in this relationship? Because I've actually always liked Harry, because when his mother died, I remember it well, and within days of his mother dying, he went to William and him, just kids. I mean, he was just a little boy, and they went and greeted the crowds in London before the funeral, mostly of women blubbering and crying. And Prince Harry, even though his mother had died previously in a horrific car accident, he didn't cry. He shook their hands, thanked them for turning out. I thought, then he had to do the funeral. He had to stand behind his mother's coffin, walk, and he didn't cry then. I mean, royal balls of steel. But I'm just wondering, has Meghan Markle already gelded him before they've even had royal children? You see, no matter how well-meaning she is, feminism is an illness. It is a disease of the mind, and she is infected with it. I'm not suggesting for a moment that she's nuts. I mean, she clearly isn't. I just think that she is very misguided, well-meaning but misguided. And she mentioned, it was only yesterday or the day before, this is why I'm talking about this now, that she has been behind the scenes consulting with women's groups. And this is what bothers me. They were talking about there were the four royals there. There was Prince William, Kate, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle. What bothers me is, I truly believe she's well-meaning, but has she been gotten to? Has she been brainwashed? Has she been indoctrinated? Has she been introduced to the wrong people? I remember Emma Watson, because she's the United Nations ambassador to women, for women, and when she made her speech to the United Nations, and hats off, that must take some courage. It's not easy, but she specifically thanked her mentors. Now, who were those women? What kind of things are they telling her? Because if women like this are only receiving one side of the story, then they will end up brainwashed, albeit involuntarily. And whilst the four of them were sitting down chatting, Prince William specifically mentioned the mental health of men, and there are loads of boys who commit suicide, and he was talking about this, and they were also, Harry himself was talking about, rather than dealing with the symptoms, they need to look at the cause. Well, I hope they do look at the causes of boys' problems that we have in this country. It isn't girls who are suffering the problems in this country. They are already empowered enough with all their girls-only education courses, which is going to be a video in its own right. So I think I'd just finalise by saying that when you have, as we've had in this country, I first noticed it back in 1998, that there are girls-only education courses in this country, in the STEM fields, left, right and centre. They are all over the place. And any child psychologist will tell you, first of all, that's just blatant sex discrimination, bigotry, and as far as I'm concerned, it's child abuse. To concentrate on one gender over the other, and any child psychologist worth their salt will tell you that there are few things that are worse for a child's mental health than being left out. And how must boys feel when they're told, as an old friend of mine, a female friend, her son wanted to become an engineer, but he couldn't be because the local school, the comprehensive, the high school, the engineering course was for girls and girls only. Absolutely sick. And she didn't seem to really even mind that much about it. Anyway, I'd say the best of luck to them in their marriage, but if she starts dealing with feminist organisations in this country who try to empower girls in the education system or anywhere else, then there'll be more videos to come. Thank you very much.